sect. He Songnian actually understood that without his suppression, choosing one of the genius disciples of the inner sect to become the new head of the sect had not yet grown up. And his strength was insufficient, and after all, he would still not be able to suppress these elders of the mixed Yuan sect. Once he really closed his door and didn't ask about the world, his deterrent power against the mixed Yuan sect would immediately drop to the lowest point. Several elders with the supreme strength of the 7th rank were afraid that the order of the new head would be yin and yang, and it would be difficult to direct the movement. He had to find a supporter for the new boss. For the white-haired old man, He Songnian was still extremely relieved. This is a figure of his junior uncle, named He Xuanyi, who was also a genius figure, and he could have stepped into the 6th rank grandmaster first and become the head of the mixed Yuan sect. But unfortunately he was seriously injured, resulting in a failure to break through. Then, Master He Songnian later came to the top, broke through to the 6th grade grandmaster, and became the head of the mixed Yuan sect. After that, He Xuanyi's blood declined, fell into the 7th rank, and stopped moving forward. Don't worry, I try my best to support the new leader, so that he can grow smoothly into a 7th rank martial artist and be alone. The white-haired elder replied. It's just that in the future, the real crisis that my mixed Yuan sect will face will come from the outside, unless a 6th rank grandmaster can appear within a few years. Otherwise, Elder He sighed slightly, and the following words did not continue. I understand, He Songnian said lightly. He had some plans in mind. Chapter 5 True Dispers What? In 3 days, an inner disciple competition will be held. And only genius disciples who have broken through the 4th layer of the mixed Yuan Gong before the age of 20 will be able to participate. Soon after, several elders gathered all the disciples of the mixed Yuan sect in the main hall square. This big news was announced. Inner disciples, these are all martial artists. It would be nice when I could also become an inner disciple. Inner Gate Genius Disciple Competition, this matter will never be so simple. When many disciples heard the news, they immediately started talking about it. Although the mixed Yuan sect has hundreds of disciples, more than 90% of them are outer disciples. In their hearts, becoming a 9-rank martial artist may be the highest goal. The mixed Yuan sect would initially recruit children around the age of 10 as outer disciples. Outer disciples who cultivated to the 4th level of the mixed Yuan sect before the age of 25 could become inner disciples and continue to cultivate in the mixed Yuan sect. Before the age of 25, he must leave the mixed Yuan sect and rely on himself to survive by relying on the mixed Yuan sect. Regarding this competition, the strongest will become a true disciple. An elder continued. True transmission disciples are some true genius martial artists who have received the true transmission of the sect and enjoy the best resource cultivation. In some powerful sects, there are often several true disciples, and the position of head is competed by these true disciples. The mixed Yuan sect is now only an ordinary sect, and it is difficult to recruit genius disciples with such qualifications. And only the only true disciple who is produced through the competition can be cultivated by the sect. If there are no accidents, he will become the future heir. This elder did not say at this time. This time the inner disciple Dabi, the disciple with the first place in strength, could soon become the head of the mixed Yuan sect. Because the head He Songnian was seriously injured and on the verge of death, for the time being, only a few elders knew about it. It was a secret, it could not be exposed. And it was naturally impossible for others to know. It's actually about to start selecting true disciples. Is this to focus on cultivating the next heir in charge? Many disciples exclaimed. The true transmission disciple campaign has finally begun. At the same time, there were also inner disciples who suddenly burst out with a burst of essence in their eyes. These are some genius disciples who are particularly confident in their strength and think that they have a chance to become the first place in the competition. Well, the big competition will be held in the martial arts arena in 3 days, and the inner disciples who are eligible to participate in the competition will go back and prepare well. Try to cultivate the best state, and play the strongest strength in the competition. Without further ado, the elder asked all the disciples to disperse. Elder, the disciple has a question he wants to ask. An inner disciple suddenly plucked up the courage and shouted. Oh, you say? The elder on the stage looked over. Elder, I heard that there has always been a competition for the position of true transmission disciple, and all inner disciples can participate. Why this time? Only inner disciples who have broken through the 4th layer of the mixed Yuan Gong before the age of 20 are allowed to participate. This inner disciple asked a little eagerly. It turned out that although this person was also an inner disciple, he had only cultivated to the 4th level of the mixed Yuan Gong at the age of 21. So that he did not have the qualifications to participate in this competition, which was extremely regrettable for him. In the past, all inner disciples could participate in the competition for the position of true disciples. For this problem, there were also many inner disciples like him who showed concern. This is the master's order. However, I can also explain to you that the true disciple selected by my mixed Yuan sect is the head of the future sect, and he is responsible for controlling a faction and deterring foreign enemies. And his strength must reach the 6th grade grandmaster. Therefore, you must be a person with excellent talent, and although you are also an inner disciple, I ask you, with your qualifications, how likely it is to break through to the 6th rank grandmaster. The elder's voice was loud. Some of the inner disciples who were not qualified to participate in the great competition turned a little bleak. Although they are also inner disciples, with the qualifications they show, let alone break through the 6th grade grandmaster. If there is no opportunity, whether you can break through to become a top master of the 7th grade in the future is not certain. Even a genius disciple who met the qualifications of the great competition and broke through to a 9th rank martial artist before the age of 20 only had the slightest possibility of becoming a 6th rank grandmaster. Otherwise, the entire mixed Yuan sect would not have only one 6th rank grandmaster powerhouse now. In the heavenly martial realm, grandmaster is not so easy to achieve. And some truly talented figures have long been accepted by powerful sects. Ordinary sects are often only able to recruit ordinary genius disciples. At this time, these inner disciples are just with a trace of illusion, if they are lucky enough to be able to defeat other disciples and become true disciples. They will get the key cultivation of the entire mixed Yuan sect and get a lot of precious resources to help. This is the biggest opportunity. Even if it is difficult to become a 6th grade grandmaster in the future, the 7th grade absolute is a certainty. Before the age of 20, I broke through the 4th layer of the mixed Yuan Gong. Fortunately, I just met the qualifications. Lu Changqing was also among the disciples, thinking secretly in his heart. Just now, the elder said that this big competition was to select a true disciple, that is, the future head heir of the mixed Yuan sect, and Lu Changqing's heart suddenly moved. Wouldn't this be his chance? For becoming a true disciple of the mixed Yuan sect, Lu Changqing naturally had some ideas. True transmission disciples can get a large amount of resources from the mixed Yuan sect and focus on cultivation, which is of great benefit to cultivation and can quickly improve their strength. But that's not what he cares about most. But once you become the heir in charge, you can obtain the full grandmaster level exercises, the great mixed Yuan hand. As long as he sacrificed it with the golden finger of the Yuan spirit bead, Lu Changqing's dragon elephant Rugong would immediately break through to the 9th layer, allowing his strength to enter the 7th rank, the absolute master level, and be promoted by leaps and bounds. The 7th grade is supreme, and several elders of the mixed Yuan sect are also this strength. Elder, the disciple also has a question. After becoming a true disciple, can he directly cultivate the whole great mixed Yuan hand? Lu Changqing couldn't help but ask. The great mixed Yuan hand is a grandmaster level exercise of my mixed Yuan sect, and only inner disciples can practice some of these moves. And the whole practice has always only been practiced by the head of my sect, and the true disciple is the next leader, and he can also practice. The elder glanced at Lu Changqing and replied. Getting the exact answer, Lu Changqing showed a hint of excitement in his heart. It seems that for the position of this true disciple, even if he risks exposing the dragon elephant-like skill, he must compete for it. Hey, this is senior brother, and senior brother is also qualified to participate in the competition. A disciple of the outer sect suddenly looked at Lu Changqing in surprise. For the outer disciples of the mixed Yuan sect, Lu Changqing could be said to be the person they were most familiar with. He occupied the position of the master brother of the outer gate for 4 years, and the disciples of the outer gate were invincible. During this period, many outer disciples who had also cultivated to the 3rd level of the mixed Yuan Gong challenged him, hoping to defeat him and get the title of master brother. The result was all easily defeated by Lu Changqing. No outer disciple could shake Lu Changqing's position as a senior brother of an outer disciple. It's just that the outer disciples are only outer disciples after all. Even if he is an outer sect master brother, he must not be an opponent of an inner sect disciple who cultivates the 4th layer of the mixed Yuan Gong. You still don't know that senior brother has broken through the 4th layer of the mixed Yuan Gong not long ago and become an inner disciple. And the senior brother is actually just 20 years old this year, and he just happens to be eligible to participate in the competition. A disciple who was familiar with Lu Changqing quickly explained. Ah, senior brother has finally become an inner disciple as well. There is a good show to watch now. The master brother is born with divine power, and he is invincible among the outer disciples such as me. I don't know if I have no opponent when I become an inner disciple. Yes, senior brother also participated in this competition. I wonder if it is possible for him to become a true disciple. A large number of outer disciples were talking. In the mixed Yuan sect, the outer disciples and the inner disciples were two different classes with little contact. Of all the outer disciples, the strongest master they had seen was Lu Changqing, the strongest of the outer disciples. And his invincible posture over the outer disciples was deeply imprinted in the hearts of these outer disciples. HMPH, but it's just a newly promoted inner disciple, just broken through the 4th layer of the mixed Yuan Gong. I really thought that I was the first in strength among the outer disciples before. And I could also be the first among the inner disciples. It was really a group of frogs at the bottom of the well. I don't know the height of the sky. When some inner disciples heard these disciples' conversations, they couldn't help but snort coldly. The faces of the outer disciples immediately changed. Their gazes all fell on Lu Changqing. Lu Changqing looked at this inner disciple and did not refute, with a slight smile at the corner of his mouth. 3 days later, I will see for myself. Chapter 6 Dabby begins 3 days passed in a flash. On this day, all the disciples of the mixed Yuan sect gathered at the martial arts arena. Their gazes couldn't help but fall on the 11 inner gate genius disciples who were about to participate in the competition for the position of true transmission disciple. The situation of these inner disciples who participated in the competition had already been clearly inquired by the disciples. Compared with himself, he couldn't help but feel a little ashamed of himself. He was really a real genius martial artist, far from being comparable to these ordinary disciples. Among them, there were disciples who broke through the 4th layer of the mixed Yuan Gong at the age of 15 or 6 and became inner disciples. Which is the smallest in terms of breaking through the time of a 9-rank martial artist. Some disciples did not become inner disciples by virtue of the 4th layer of the mixed Yuan Gong, but first returned to the Yuan palm through cultivation of external skills to have the strength of the 9th rank, which was extremely powerful. First chapter, previous chapter.